Hello everyone, this is Graham Speck from Paramotor.ca. What I have here is a review of the new Dudek Warp 2. We've been waiting for this wing for quite a long time. I'm thrilled to have it in my possession, and within hours of receiving it, I was strapping in, as you see here, and getting ready to go for my first flight. I'm carefully checking over the risers. The handles are the same as we are used to on the Hadron 3 or the Drift Air, with the tip steering or the 2D steering attached right to the handle triangle. The risers overall were a bit longer. I know this is one size up from my 16 Drift Air, but the risers are longer in length for certainly more travel and more speed range. The wing here popped up overhead very nicely, almost waited there for me to get moving and get off the ground. As you can see, the climb rate is excellent. Here I've let off the throttle a bit, but very impressed with how quickly I got into the air. What I'm doing here is slowing this down to about 50%. You can see I've got the speed bar hooked up. I've got the trimmers out at the second bar tack, about 2 inches out, and I am going to demonstrate how much the speed bar will pull down on the whole riser assembly. The speed bar could be tightened up by about 1 inch, my lines there, but overall you can see how the malleons are moving. Obviously, tilting the risers down and getting more speed into the wing. The front A's, obviously split A's. You have your B's riding on the center pulley, and then the C's are what I would consider a split C format. This is a 3-liner wing. You can see with the speed bar depressed that the back end of the wing there is quite unloaded. I give it a shake here to demonstrate that. I will also note that my brake pulley is in the middle loop along the back end of the riser there. So this is the absolute stock setup of the wing right out of the box. Pulleys in the middle, unadjusted brake lines. The main brakes and the tip steering are stock. I have not shortened them at all. Other to note here is that you can see the thin red line, which is going up to the 2D steering, the outside tip, and it is for the lower TST, the tip steering toggle lines, which are a feature that has been on other Dudek wings, but they have put this handle even lower and technically made it both adjustable and removable. So you can see that line coming back here, blowing back a little bit. As I said, it is adjustable. This is straight out of the box. The reason for this tip steering toggle is to get your arms down lower and prevent fatigue in both your arms and your shoulders during long cross-country flights, which is what this wing is meant for. I prefer more hot dog style flying and checking out the agility of the wing. What we have here is my first barrel roll in the wing, seeing how much energy it builds, how quickly it will drop or go nose down, and putting it through a little bit of its paces here. As mentioned, the wing is primarily designed for cross-country. It's designed to be the fastest wing in Dudek's lineup. However, those who have owned the Warp 1 know that it is very agile, with very minimum brake inputs will invoke quite a turn, and you don't have to put a lot into it to get a lot out of it. It is very reactive. I wouldn't call it sensitive, but it is reactive, and it is designed for experienced pilots only. I believe the manual will say 300 hours plus for pilots to consider purchasing this wing. It is an expert level wing. I want to emphasize that. Here I am bleeding off some speed to come down to my field, and so once again feeling it out, having only been in the air for about 15 minutes here. Seat of the pants analysis here, it is very stiff. The wing itself feels like you're flying a fixed wing, and I mean this in a good way. It is extremely confidence-inspiring that put in the air, it's very rigid, very firm. The brake feel is harder than the drift air for sure. Once again, I enjoy this. It reminds me a bit of my Hadron XX. That is in the Dudex lineage, being a 3-liner with the reinforcing nylon rods through the trailing edge and basically the backside of the wing. You can see here the Dudex logo offset, and in this view shoe cam, you can see some of the colors and the pattern there. Once again, this is the Nirvana color scheme for this wing. So here I'm getting a little bit more aggressive with the wing, and my second flight out I landed, took off the tip steering lines and adjusted my speed bar and got up in the air again before the sun went down. So getting a feel for the timing and the amount of brake input that is required. It doesn't take a lot of brakes to get a fairly extreme reaction out of the swing, once again for experienced pilots. You can see here in the sun some of the shots that the wing on the underside does have the pattern of the warp pattern. In other words, it appears as though Dudex was considering putting in colored panels in the bottom of the wing. Here, what I'm doing is testing out the speed bar now that I have adjusted it. I see my pocket open. I had my camera, my GoPro in there to launch, and then I put it on in the air and forgot to do it in my pocket. But what we're seeing is the the pulleys on the front of the risers pulled down all the way upon my activating the speed bar, and the speed is tremendous. The coming out of the air, the loss of altitude when you hit that bar is dramatic. Once again, I have the full PK system activated. I've taken off the restraining lines on the bottom of the riser, and you are getting the full speed bar and trim release action all with one push of the bar. So the PK system on this, it is dramatic for altitude loss and speed increase. And conversely, when you let off of this bar, it will balloon behind you and you will rise dramatically. So coming off of the bar, if you're not banking into a turn or something, trying to do slalom, you want to go easy coming off of that bar. Certainly be off of the throttle when doing so. Here in this clip, I want you to notice that this wing does not move or oscillate at all. I'm showing you that with brakes parked, the amount of, there's a weight shift, so my right leg has gone down and I bank right over to the right, and here I am going to the left. The Nirvana F-Light, which is what I'm flying here, has a very authoritative weight shift, more so than any other machine that I've flown. I'm coming from a Maverick. Prior to that was an Instinct. Prior to that was a Kanguk. I've also flown on a PAP Tinox. I've also flown the Open PPG. I try to fly whatever machines I can get a hold of at whatever fly-in. And the length of the bars, the width of the bars, the construction of the machine, the weight shift is the best. It's like none other that I have flown. What I'm doing here, this is the second last segment of some barrel rolls. Once again, getting a bit more confident with the wing. I have slowed this down to 50%. And what you can see here is that how little brake inputs that I am putting in, the length that my brake toggle is going down. I'm going to build some energy here. You can see with this setting sun, the trailing edge of the wing and how much it is changing shape in order to keep that energy, put that energy to use and get over the top. And so these slow-mo videos really allow you, number one, with the sun behind it, you can really see the new construction of the swing, but also the brake inputs. I want to note that on the drift air, I have to check brake it around the top of the barrel roll to keep it inflated. It does want to tuck the tip and do a little collapse, a little tip collapse. With this wing, as I said, it's dramatically noticeable, the rigidity of the wing, and how I might do it a little bit here simply out of muscle memory, but the wing was absolutely stable, not a hint of a tip collapse at all, just fantastic. It's like having a solid wing above your head here. Now we're going to go into a segment of full speed barrel rolls, and then I'm going to come in for a landing. So I've flown over my house. I'm going to kill the engine and then proceed to give it a drop in, so you can see how this is happening at full time. So quickly to wrap things up here, the wing is designed for cross country. It's designed to be fast, both with trimmer's release and or speed bar. It does have the built-in PK system, so you can get all of that speed at the push of a bar, and as you can see, is exceedingly agile. It is very rigid. It has a firm brake pull, certainly more than the Drift Air. I would say slightly more than the original Warp even, but it's been over a year since I've had mine. It harkens back to me more of the Hadron XX, but I appreciate that brake pull. I really like it. It is not tiring at all. It is firm, but as you can see, very responsive. The feedback is terrific. So I can't wait to get up in the air again with this wing. It's fast, it's agile. It has not proven to me, to a lot of people were asking me, well, does it oscillate? If they're getting that much speed, obviously a lot depends on your loading. I'm around 170, 175 pounds, somewhere in that range, flying an F-Light, and this is a 17 wing. My previous Warp was an 18, my Drift Air was a 16, so I've landed right in the middle with this wing, and I really think I've hit that sweet spot of having a quick climb. For some of you who've watched my videos in the past, you know I like to climb quite high, so an excellent glide, good climb, but still have enough speed so that it's exciting. So once again, coming in here, doing a bit of a foot drag, and second time landing, getting used to the flare, and it's fantastic. I've never had a wing before that I haven't had to adjust something on it, and as I said, everything was perfect on this wing right on out of the box. I want to give a shout out to Eugene over there at Nirvana North America, Nirvana South Africa, for working with Dudex and putting this all together and getting us dealers and importers out these wings as quickly as possible, and we'll see you in the air. Thank you for watching.